guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your favorite girl, Life with Lynn. In today's video I will be sharing with you guys my labor and delivery story time, guys. And when I say I missed you guys, I really missed you guys. I miss sitting and talking to my phone, guys. I just love it here, and I hope you guys love it here as well. So we are just gonna jump right into the story time, guys. Like, we're not gonna waste any time because it's really a long. So I'm just gonna start the story time where I feel like you guys will understand much better. So I was pregnant in 2019 and I was due March 2020, 8 March 2020. So there was a day in February that I was home alone with my cousin. My parents had went out of town, so I was left with my cousin at home, and a few friends, two friends of mine came to visit us, and we were having a great day, guys. They were baking cupcakes and preparing fudge for me, and we just had a great day. So, you know, while they were still there, they were like joking, like, what if you give birth today while your parents are not here, and you know, whatever. So I was just like, you know, my due date is far. So it was time for them to go home. I think it was around not 8 o'clock, but it was around 5 o'clock because they went home early. And they went home and I was left with my cousin. So when they went, I started feeling this cramps. So I told my cousin, like, yo, like, I'm getting this cramps. And she's like, oh my god, don't say, because I'm also scared. I'm scared. She's never given birth, so she's scared. So I'm like, no girl, like, it's fine, I'm okay, it's just, you know, light cramping. So she's like, okay, if you say so, like, you know. So as time progressed, guys, I'm feeling these pains are just increasing and it's just getting worse by the hour. So I'm like, wow, like, I'm really in pain now. So she's like, no, you need to go to the hospital, like, stop playing and just go to the hospital. Guys, who is gonna go to Karetura Hospital or Central, like, to the state hospital? Who is gonna go to the state hospital at that time? So I'm like telling her, like, girl, no, I'm not gonna go. Like, it doesn't help me going this time, you know. So I'm like, no, it's fine, like, I will just call our doctor. Like, I was still on medical aid that time, so I was telling her, like, no, it's fine, I will just call my doctor and inform her. And she's like, okay, you need to call the doctor then. So I called the doctor and I tell them, like, this is my problem, and they're like, oh no, like, we are booked fully for today, so I will give you, like, an appointment earliest tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, sure, you know, because it's not that much, I can handle this pain. So time progressed, and I think it's not around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock stuff, and I'm like, yo, I'm in pain. And I'm telling my cousin, girl, like, this pain is too much. So she's like, I told you to go to the hospital and, you know, all these things. So I'm like, girl, like, I could handle the pain that time, but now it's just not giving. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. So she's like, okay, whatever, you're going to the doctor tomorrow, so it's no problem. Ish, guys. So I text Amira's dad and I tell him, like, yo, I'm getting this cramps and I don't know what it is. My due date is still far, so I don't know what is going on. And it's just like, he was like, you know, panicking, and he was like, no, you need, if that is so, you need to go to the hospital, and, you know, you cannot risk, you know. And he was like, maybe the child is in danger, so you need to go to the hospital. And me being me, guys, I'm very stubborn, so I'm like, it's whatever. So the night time comes, and I think around 10, 11, my cousin goes to bed, and we were sleeping in my room, and she was sleeping, and she slept earlier than me, so I couldn't really sleep because I was still in pain. So I go to bed and I couldn't sleep, guys. Like, it was just so much. This pain was just too much, and it was getting worse by the hour. So I couldn't really sleep, and I think I was just twisting and turning around the whole time. And she was asleep and I was on my phone, talking to people online and whatever. So I take a painkiller and the pain would still not go away, guys. This pain was something else. Like, it was like period cramps to 1,000 times 1,000 or something like that. But it's like I can handle it. But it was just too much, guys. It was just too much. But I was like, what can I do? So I tell my parents, like, yo, I'm paining, and my mom is just like, oh my gosh, like, how can this happen while we're still out of town and what. So my mom is like, you need to go, like, tomorrow, like, you need to go to the private doctor. And I'm like, yeah, I already told her, and she booked me early tomorrow, so it's fine. So I get off the phone, and my mom is just like worried the whole evening, and eventually I think she slept or something, so I couldn't sleep, and I was just like, So I think it was like around 2 a.m. around there, I started vomiting. Because one thing about me, guys, I will vomit if I'm in pain. Like, I don't know what it is, but I will vomit whenever I'm in pain. So I start vomiting, and my cousin is like awake, but I don't think she was like fully awake. She was just like awake to a point where she like saw I was vomiting, but then she went back to sleep like nothing happened. I was like, girl, I'm dying, help. And then she goes back to sleep, and I'm like helping myself out and stuff. So the next morning came, and guys, at this point it is 6 o'clock, and I still haven't slept. I was in pain, and the pain was coming from my lower abdomen and my lower back, and it was just so much. So the next morning comes, and it is raining, guys. And I think my appointment was like around 9:10, and it was raining. So I got ready, thinking and hoping that the rain would stop, guys. This rain did not stop, and I'm still paining, guys. I was still in pain, and the rain didn't stop, so I couldn't really go out to get a cab to go to the hospital. So guys, I hate when this mouth sperm or whatever this white thing are called on my lips. So the next day comes, and it is raining, and I cannot really go to the hospital. And I tell I call the hospital, and I tell them like, yo, it's raining and I cannot really come, so can you shift my appointment to around maybe 12 o'clock there around. Hopefully it will stop by then. The rain, guys, I'm telling you, it was raining that whole morning till the afternoon, and I was only able to go to the hospital like I think around 3 in the afternoon. So I went to the hospital. I got there. Eventually the rain stopped, and I went to the clinic, and when I got there, I had to fill in my name and pay for consultation and stuff. So they did what they normally do at the prenatal visit. So they took my blood pressure and my weight and all those things they normally do. And they also listened to the heart rate, and everything was fine. I was fine. So guys, it's a long story time. So I was fine, and everything was fine with the baby. So I went into the doctor's consultation room, and she makes me lie down on the bed, and she's like, open your legs. She's like, open your legs, and I lay down, and she's feeling my tummy, and she's like, are you still in pain? And I'm like, tell her, yeah, I'm still paining, but like now the pain is like a little bit lighter than it was before in the evening. So she feels, and she's like, okay, open your legs. So she wears her gloves and puts on lubricant gel, whatever, and she's like, she goes in, guys. Oh, it was paining, and this lady is like, oh, it's paining, is it paining? But it was not paining when you were doing the things. I'm like, I'm like, okay, whatever. It was so uncomfortable, but, and then she's like, you know what, you're not in labor, like you're not in labor. I feel like it's just the baby turning into position, that's why you're paining. And she's like, it's false labor, you don't really need to worry, your due date is still far. And my due date was on the 8th, like I already said, it was on the 8th of March. So she gave me this, guys, she gave me this big oval pills that I had to apparently insert down there. She said it will help the muscles relax or something like that. And those pills, guys, those pills really helped me. Like as soon as I went home, I did what she said, and the pain was gone. It was gone. And I went home and did what the doctor said, and so now we're just gonna fast forward to March. Yes, I think March or beginning of March, or either the last week of Feb was when I had my last prenatal visit at the hospital. And I used to go for my prenatal visits at Central Hospital. So I went there for my last checkup, and the nurses were just basically telling me, like, you know, you need to do this if this happens, and they were asking me questions to make sure if I really understood what they told me, you know, in all my prenatal visits and stuff like that. So they tell me, if you don't give birth this weekend, which was the 8th of March, so they told me if I didn't give birth by the 8th of March, I should go to them as soon as possible, like the Monday or something, because I was full term. I was literally 40 weeks, guys. I was full term, so there was no way I couldn't give birth that weekend. So I think the 6th of March, yes, the 6th of March, I was with my friend, the one that was at our house, and another friend of hers. We went to town to Vanelpa to get, you know, last minute things like my towel, like my gown, pads, and those small things that I didn't buy. So we went to buy those things, and guys, my friend was just like, oh my god, like, I don't believe I'm doing this with you, because she's also scared. She's like, Darlene, what if your water breaks? What is gonna happen? Like, she's scared. And we end up going to, so when we were done, we end up going to my sister's school to pay her school fees. Guys, listen, we worked all the way to Sunshine Private School from Vanel, guys, from Vanel. And I think that is what helped me get into labor so fast. So we did what we did, like, and we went home. The next day, it was the 7th, and I went to town with my parents again. I don't know what they were doing, but yeah, we went to town and I got my hair done. My other friend, she came to do my hair, and guys, that day, the 7th, I was just so tired. I was over it, guys. So that evening, my family and I, we were in the sitting room. We were eating. We were eating so good. That food was so good, guys. We were eating spur ribs and chicken, and I think with salad or something like that. But I didn't want to eat I didn't want to eat all my food. So I just, I was just eating a little because I was scared that I would poop. And you know what those people say, like, they say like you might poop while you're giving birth and stuff. So I was like, I don't need that. I don't want to do that. So I was like, so I didn't I didn't finish my food. So I was like, okay, it's whatever. So my parents went to sleep and I'm on the phone, I'm texting Amira's dad, and he was asking me like, what's going on? Like, are you painting, or have you gotten any signs of labor? And I'm telling him like, no, I'm fine. And 10 o'clock comes and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed right now. So I'm like, okay, I'm also gonna sleep now because I'm tired. I've been busy this whole week. Fine. Guys, I went off the bed just to switch off my light. And guys, wow. And I just got this intense, when I say intense, guys, I mean intense. This intense pain at my lower abdomen and the back, and I was starting to get contractions, guys. I was like, wow, like I was so blown away. This pain was just so much. It was worse than the false labor pains. I was like, wow, like this is, I'm giving birth today. And it was 10 o'clock when the pain started, and it was getting worse by the hour. Just like last time, it was getting worse by the hour. And but this time the pain was different, guys. This was like out of the world. Like this type of pain, I couldn't even like wish it unto my worst enemy or to anyone. This pain was just, wow, it was just, whoop, it was too much. So as time goes by, I couldn't even sleep, I couldn't breathe properly, I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, I couldn't do anything, guys. At this point I was like, what should I do? And I drank my painkillers that the doctor gave me, and it still didn't work, guys. I was like, wow, like I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is happening and stuff like that. So I'm like pacing in my room, like the whole evening. I'm just pacing around here and there. I'm going to the toilet, and I had this constant urge to go to the toilet, guys, just to do number one. Like, come on. I was like so annoyed and irritated at that time. I was just like, oh, I just wanted to pee in my pants. So guys, mind you, my hospital bags were already like done and I didn't have to worry. So I'm like, so I think it was like around 11, 12-ish there. So I'm like, the pain was absolutely ridiculous. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get ready. I'm just gonna take a shower and get ready and then call my parents. So I go to the shower, I go to the bathroom, and I take out my brush and my toothbrush, and I'm like brushing my teeth. And so I'm done now. So I go to the shower and I shower, and I try to shower, guys. I couldn't even shower. That's how bad and intense that pain was. So I couldn't shower. So I just let the water running, and later on I was like, I can't even shower, like I can't do this. So I just close the shower and I go back to my room, and I'm like thinking, like, what if this is also just forced labor, and I don't want to go to the hospital and wait for hours to be assisted, because you know how this hospitals are like in our country. Like, they will tell you like, no, you're still far from labor, just go walk around, or this stuff. So I was like, it's like I'm not gonna get help, so what's the point of going? So the pain gets worse, and at this point I cannot handle it anymore. I cannot do this anymore. So I go to my parents' room and I knock, and my dad answers and he's like, what is it? And then I tell him like, I'm in pain. So my mom wakes up and she's like, oh, what's going on, what's going on? Like she thought like maybe something bad happened, or like, you know, like somebody broke into the house, but that was not the case. So so my parents, guys, my parents just woke up and they were like getting ready, and they took all my bags and all my belongings, and they were taking the car. Like when I say taking the car, they put all my blankets, like everything that I needed that day was going in the car. So we packed the car, and my sister and I were sitting at the back, and my parents were in front. And guys, when I say I was in pain, I couldn't even sit right, I couldn't even sit, guys. Like it was just out of this world. So we, guys, as we were on the way to the hospital, I saw a house that was getting robbed. Like those people were breaking into the house, literally, like 3 guys. 2 of them were breaking into the car, and the other was breaking into the house. But we couldn't do anything, like it was nighttime, and we were also in a rush to go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital. When we got there, you know, there's like the first place that you, like the hospital, like at the maternity side, there's this waiting room or something. When we got there, guys, the waiting room was full. Like it was full of men, women, everything. Like I think the patient's family or relatives, and you know, those people were there, and it was really full. I was like, oh my gosh, like if this place is so full, then I will not get assisted. So I go to the reception where the nurses are in. I tell them like, yo, I feel like I'm in labor because I'm due today. That evening was the 8th now. It was the 8th. And I tell them like, yo, I feel like I'm in labor and I'm due on the 8th today. So they were like, okay, you know, just wait there. And they take all my information, and you know, they let me wait. So I sit next to a Tamara girl, and I started making friends with her. Like we were just, you know, talking, and I was asking her like, how's your pain? And she's like, no, I'm pretty fine. She said she was thinking she had you know, forced labor as well, so her pain was not that much. So it was just me and the girl that was sitting with me. And so guys, yo, my pain was so much, man. I was like pacing around the hospital. I was going, guys, I was going crazy. I was going crazy. I was going back and forth to the toilet, back and forth, just me, pacing around the whole hospital. Like I was like, you know how this pregnant ladies act. I was like going through it. So the nurse saw that I was like in labor, so she comes to me and she's like, I think I should help you first because you were giving me signs of active labor. And she tells the girl like that was with me, that was in front of me, she tells her like, yo, is it fine if you're gonna help her because she's in a labor and we can see she's in pain? So the girl is just like, yeah, it's fine with me and stuff like that. So we go to the stage 1 room. It is not really far, it's just, you know, the reception in the stage 1 room is here. So we go inside the room, and she puts the monitor on my stomach, and she, you know, checks my blood pressure, and then she does everything that they do at the prenatal visit. So she checks me and she's like, you're fine, your heart rate is fine, your baby's heart rate is fine, like everything seems to be fine. So she's like, if you get contractions, just let me know so I can go down there and see how far along you have dilated. So I was getting contractions like this. So I tell her like, yo, like I'm getting contractions. So she tells me, you know, open your legs, and she goes in. guys, she goes in and she's like, oh my god, like you are 8 centimeters dilated, like you're about to give birth, like, and you know you have to give birth when you are 10 centimeters dilated and I was 8. Imagine. So she's like, oh my god, we were in active labor, and she goes and calls her other colleague, and they all come and they're like, oh, you're in labor, so you don't have to move around that much. And they were like, okay, just lie down on this bed and wait for your water to break, because they wanted my water to break naturally, but guys, my water was not breaking. So I'm on the phone with Amira's bed and I'm telling him to come to the hospital because I'm about to give birth. So I tell him like, no, the nurses say I am 8 centimeters dilated and about to give birth anytime. So I start texting people, like random people, like my friends, and saying, yo, I'm in labor. I actually didn't tell my friends. I think, yes, I didn't tell my friends. I only asked this other girl that gave birth before me, you know, but she didn't reply. So I was like, okay, fine. You know, people were asleep, so I didn't really do anything. So I was just on the phone with Amira's dad, and my mom, they came to see me constantly, but they didn't really allow her to a certain point at the hospital. They were like, no, ma'am, you cannot go home. And I don't understand why. Like, if she's my mom, she can be with me easy. But guys, I was having, when I went to the hospital, guys, I took Jack wash, and I was having apples and, you know, just the snacks, you know, and I couldn't even eat the food. That's how bad it was. I couldn't even breathe properly, guys. That's how bad the pain was. So eventually they take me off the monitor and they tell me to just sit down and wait for my water to break. So I was like pacing, going to the toilet back and forth. So they're like, Emeline, don't go to the toilet, like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to give birth in the toilet? What is going on with you? And, you know, all this stuff. But they were like really helpful nurses. Like, if I remembered all their names, I would have, you know, go back to the hospital and tell them they did a good job. So where are we, guys? So I've been talking for 27 minutes straight without any break. So I think, so they told me not to go to the toilet because I was gonna give birth anytime. So they took me to the other room, not the delivery room, guys. They took me to another room just close by, just in front of the reception, just right in front of them. So they took me to that room and they put on the monitor, guys. That monitor was, guys, I feel like the monitor was making the pain worse. So time progressed, and I think this was around 3-4 o'clock, and Amira's dad came and he was like, are you fine, da da da, and I was like, yeah, like I'm good, but I was in pain. So he started massaging my back, but guys, it was just the pain, everything that I did, the pain was just getting worse. So I couldn't even do anything. So he was trying to massage me because the nurses had told me to massage my back. Apparently to ease the pain, but I felt like it was just, you know, making my pain worse. So we were waiting and waiting for my water to break, but it was still not there. So I'm like, you know, I'm just there waiting in pain, and like, I think while I was there, guys, I could hear women screaming on top of their lungs, like, ooh, like grown women, guys. Imagine a grown woman screaming on top of her lungs, saying, ooh, tate wange, ooh, tate, me, and stuff. I was like, wow, like, if a grown woman is in so much pain, like giving birth, like, what about little old me? But I was like, okay, it's fine. and I just hear ladies screaming. I'm like, at this point I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to give birth, because the only way I could get rid of this pain was to give birth. And I think my mucus plug had my mucus plug went out. It came out of me, and I was like, okay, it's maybe time. Like, I think it's time, guys. It was still not time, and I think now the time was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was screaming, guys. I was telling those nurses like, oh no, 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 I cannot do this anymore. Like, they need to help me. I couldn't, because the pain was just, that was erg, like it was just too much. So I was screaming and I was telling them like, no, you need to help me, like I'm in pain, like I need to give birth, like yo. I was like, oh, I need to give birth now. So 7 o'clock comes and the shift had to go, like the shift that was there at night time, they had to go and a new shift had to come. So the nurse is like, no, the doctor went home and we cannot assist you. I'm like, what? I need to give birth now. And they're like, no, you need to wait for the next shift and the doctors are only away. So I'm like, oh my god, can you not help me? So I think it was like 7 o'clock around there. There was a student nurse from Velvicha. Shout out to Velvicha, guys. I was there. So a student nurse from Velvicha came, and I don't know, guys. I think they, guys, they were just so young. I feel like the doctor that was helping me, she was either a student doctor from UNAM, or she maybe recently, I don't know, guys. I was just happy that she came to help me, because I was in pain. The only thing I was thinking of was just to give birth and get rid of this pain. Guys, I couldn't even think straight at that point. So I'm like, so the nurse from Belgium, she comes and she checks how far I've dilated, and she's like, oh, you're ready to give birth. And the doctor comes in, and the doctor comes in with this, Lord, guys, I don't know what to say, but she comes in with this long, flexible, I don't want to say a stick, but it was like a long thing, very, very long, guys. It was very long and thin. She comes in, she's like, okay, we're gonna give birth. You're gonna give birth now. And she also checks how far I've done it, and she's like, okay, we're perfect to go. You can give birth. So I'm like, oh, finally. And she tells Amrase, because he was with me the whole time, she tells him, no, you need to go out, basically. So he didn't really go out, he was just at the toilet. He was sitting by the toilet. So the room has like a toilet, so he's like sitting at the toilet and he could hear everything. So it's time, and guys, mind you, I didn't even go to the delivery room. I was just there. I think those were like the stage 1 room. They couldn't even move me. That's how far I've dilated, and I was ready to give birth. And they were scared to take me there, because what if I just give birth on the floor or something. So the doctor comes in, she's like, get naked. So I got naked, and I was wearing a tubeless, is it tubeless? I was wearing a tubeless dress. So I just, pulled the dress like to the top, and she opens my legs and she puts that thing, that flexible rubberish thing, she puts the thing inside me, guys, and she pops my water, like she pops my water, and it breaks, and it's just like a gush of hot water, like flowing outside, like just flowing out, like that. So my water breaks, she broke my water, and she's like, okay, it's getting time. So she tells me like, hold your knees and push as hard as you can when you get contractions. And I'm like, And I'm like, guys, I didn't even want to push because I was in pain, guys. It was so painful. It was so painful. Like, oh, just thinking of that day, guys, I feel like the pain is coming back. So she tells me, you know, push when you have contractions, and I was like, and I was trying to push, but I don't think it was enough. It was strong enough. So she tells me, no, you need to push. You need to push. And this doctor, guys, was so sweet. Like, she was really encouraging me, even though I wasn't really, you know, getting the job done. She was telling me, oh, you're doing so well. You're doing so good. Push. She's like, push, mama, push, mama. And I'm just like pushing in. It's like, guys, I was in labor for 10 hours, and I think delivery I was maybe an hour or so, I don't know. So I was pushing and pushing, and she tells me, like, you need to start pushing very hard. So I'm like, you know, like, I was screaming things that don't even make sense. I'm like, oh my god, like, I can't do this. And she's like, you can do this. And I'm just pushing, I'm just pushing. Whew, it was so, like, guys, that pain is so, like, it's so undescribable. Like, I can't even put it to words. So so I'm pushing, and I think it was like 30 minutes in, and she saw that I'm getting tired. So she goes out, she gets the IV, she gets her oxygen machine, and then she puts the IV. She puts me on IV, and she's like, okay, rest a little, like, just breathe and let me know when you're ready. So I just breathe and get back. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting this baby out because I'm tired at this point. I just want to get over this. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna push. So I push and I push, and I'm giving her like my hardest pushes, and she's like, okay, you're almost there. And she's like, she feels, and she's like, you're almost there. So guys, as I'm pushing, I feel like something is coming out of me, and I'm like, I knew it was the baby, but I was like, so like, I'm like so shocked. I'm like, something is coming out, and the doctor is like, yes, that's the head, that's the head. And I'm like pushing and pushing, and she's like, you need to push hard. And I'm like just pushing, and like I could feel my pelvic bones, guys, like my pelvic bones separating. Like, it was so bad. Like, as soon as my pelvic bones opened, I could feel the head moving out. Like, and at one point, it just happened so fast. Like, the head came out, and then I could feel like the bone expanding more, and the shoulder came out, and next thing, the head is already out. You know, the head is already out, the vagina, and I was like, ah! I was like, oh my god, finally. And she takes the baby and she pulls the gently out. I was just so relieved at that point. I was like, wow, I finally gave birth. So she cuts the baby's cord, and the student nurse from the church, she wanted to rush the baby to what is that thing? Guys, I forgot. That little class or whatever. She wanted to rush the baby to, what's the thing called? Yeah, but you guys get me. She wanted to rush the baby to put her in that little machine. And the doctor is like, no, bring her baby, like, bring her baby, let she see the baby. And I just held my baby, and she's like so cute, and like her head was so full of hair, and it was like, she was the cutest thing that I've ever seen. And she's just so like, she's so cute. And I just held her, like, oh my gosh, like I just held her, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. Like I'm free of the pain, and I was just like, oh, I was just so thankful that she was fine, and we made it through, guys. At one point, I felt like I was gonna die in the delivery room. I was like, I'm gonna die, and that's it, you know. So I was done cuddling with the baby, and it was time to stitch me up. And um, guys, the nurse, the doctor, she cut me. So yeah, so it was time to stitch me up, and she gets some medicine, and I was like, wow. And she took the needle and she injected me. And guys, when I say this medicine didn't work, it did not work. Like, I could still feel the pain, and I was telling the doctor like, yo, when she was teaching me, I was like, yo, like I can feel like, and she's like, can you really feel? I'm like, yes, I can feel. Like, I was like, wow, like I can't do this. And like, no, before that, she put her hands, guys. She put both her hands and took out the placenta. I was like, what the hell? She took but first she massaged, and she put her hands and she took it out, guys. That thing is so disgusting. It looks like a big piece of meat, and it's just so ugly. So yeah, and then when we were done with the placenta, she basically also puts in a pad like cotton, and then she cleans inside with her own bare hands, guys. Like, obviously she had gloves, but like with her hands, she goes in there, like in there, and she cleans it up. And it was just blood everywhere. And what else? And then she puts a pad, guys, and she cleans it up, and then takes it out, and then puts another pad inside, and then she starts, and then she takes the needle, and then she stitches me. I'm like, if you're stitching me up, how am I gonna get that out? And then she's like, no, don't worry. And guys, at this point I could feel the needle going inside my skin and going out. I'm like, yo, I can feel. And she's like, I think your body rejects the medicine. Like, that happens to other patients as well. So I'm like, no, like, finish. And she's like, oh, just a few stitches. And mind you, this doctor is so beautiful, and she's so super duper sweet. And I'm like, oh, how can I get angry at you? And she finishes up, and as soon as she's done stitching up, she takes the pad that was inside, that she left inside, and then she just pulls it out. I was like, ah! And she's like, you're done. And as soon as I was done, I realized that he just came in out of nowhere, just came in, and he saw the placenta and the blood, and you know, all these things happening. So he was like, the doctor was like, hey, how did you get here? And he was like, no, I was just here. And he's like, oh, I thought you guys are done. And the doctor is like, yeah, we're done, but you were not supposed to be here. Like, what are you doing? And he was telling me that apparently while I was giving birth, he was calling his grandma, his sister, his whole family. Then his daughter came and stuff. So good. Guys, when I was done, I was so tired. Like, I just wanted to sleep. And when we were done, they put me on the bed with the wheels, and they pushed me to the elevator, and they took me to the other ward where, you know, where those ladies are that gave birth. And I'm still, mind you, I'm still on my IV. And we get to the ward, and the nurses, they were responsible at that ward. They get me, and they gave me painkillers and pills to Those pills that will help you to form your milk or something like that. So he gave me those and I drank, and guys, those painkillers were so strong, like the pain just went away, like that, like just in thin air, it just went away. And I was so tired. I was tired and I was hungry because I didn't eat the night before. I was like so tired, and I think this was like around 8 o'clock. And I got a room, but it was quite full, guys. It was full. So I was just like on the floor, like they gave us like a room. And guys, your 2020 babies there will shock you. I was in the room with this lady. We were like sleeping on mattresses, and she was like in front of me. Her mattress was in front of me. This lady's baby was saying mama the first day, like on the first day. And I was wondering, like maybe she gave birth like way before me, and it's maybe like a older baby or something. Just for me to realize that this is a newborn baby, and I'm asking her like, lady, like how old is your baby? And she's like, no, I gave birth last night. And I'm like, what? I was just so shocked, and she was like, yeah, I gave birth last night. And I'm like, but your baby is saying mama, like he's literally like mama. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I'm also shocked. And guys, I just fell asleep there, and my mom came, my parents came later. They said they went home when they saw Amira's dad. So they just went home and they got food for me. So guys, as a you guys know what these people do. So my mom and dad and cousin, my cousin Michael and my sister, they came to visit me when he was visiting ours. And my mom, guys, like a nama woman will do, she comes with a big bucket of the stuff. Hey guys, I was like, wow, like why mama, why? And she's like, no, you need to eat this, you need to eat this. I was just like, oh my god, this is weird. And the ladies that were with me, they were eating Hungry Lion. They were eating KFC and like all this nice food, and I'm eating pop, guys. I was so, at that point I was just tired. Like I was like, oh, you know, I don't want to eat pop. Like I wanted to eat something nice like pie and stuff. But Amira's dad was there for me. He came, and he came with nice food. Like come on. I just gave birth to his daughter. So my mom, she insists that I eat the porridge, and I ate. Obviously I didn't finish because as a groot pak, like a groot pak, I didn't finish eating them. Eventually we were pushed to the other room that had bed. So yeah, so that is my story, guys. It was really long, but I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, guys. Please do the most, and share my videos with your family and friends, guys. Please do subscribe. Like we are literally on the road to 500, guys, like 500. Please get me there, like please. Some of you even watch these videos and don't even start. Like come on. I just said 48 minutes talking to you guys, almost for an hour. Like I'm giving you guys what you guys deserve, and you guys don't give back. Like come on, help your sister out. We're on the road to 500. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I love you.